All right.
Hey.
So good morning, guys. I'd go ahead, for all the students, go ahead and put your microphone mute so we don't have any background noise. So that way, if anything happens, like your dog starts barking, we don't need to get that in the background. We'll have an opportunity to ask questions later. I'm Dr. Mackzum. I'm the principal at Princeton Community Middle School. I'm really excited to welcome you guys to our school next year. I do want to mention that we are recording this. Ms. Doris is going to record this, not only for your school, but for all the schools in Princeton. So then that way we can put this on our website, share it with all schools, so because we're doing this with all our different elementary schools, but we thought this would be a good opportunity to record this session so we can share it, so in case any parents and families across the district miss this, then they can come in. So if your parents are around as well and they want to listen to us going and they have any questions, they're welcome to interact and ask us any great questions. Any of the staff from Woodlawn, if you'd like to ask us any questions during it at the end, please feel free to do that as well. So just remember that, students, that this is going to be something, and staff too, but this is something that we will be sharing across the district, as you know. So just keep in mind, if we open up the chats for questions, that you guys keep, you know, that this could be something that a lot of different people from across the district could look at. So what I'm going to do right now is I want to introduce Miss Morgan, who is our 6th grade counselor. She's right there. So I'll let her say hi real quick. She's waving her hands. All right, Miss Wilder is also, I want to introduce her as well. She's waving her hand. Say hi, Miss Wilder.
Hi, guys. I'm Dr. Mackzum. I'm going to stay on mute. Ray is on my lap watching the iPad, so I'll stay.
No worries, no worries. So, and then I want to introduce Elizabeth. Where's she at? Elizabeth, right there. She's one of our students, great students at the middle school. Reagan as well. She's right there. She's going to help. And then Lauren.
Guys.
There she is. So we do have some of our students here on this call as well. So that way they can kind of answer some questions as well. But Miss Morgan, I want to introduce because she is your 6th grade counselor as you come in. She is going to be your counselor for the 3 years that you are at Princeton Community Middle School. So it's really important that you develop a great relationship with her, get to know her, because she is going to be consistent with you as you travel through the middle school. Miss Morgan, do you want to talk about some things that you do as a counselor at the middle school? Or?
Yeah, just real quick. So I come into your classrooms and do classroom guidance, usually about once a quarter, sometimes a little more than that. But, you know, right off the bat, we talk a lot about making sure you're using progress book on a regular basis and just how to be a student. And we'll talk about bullying and just all sorts of different things as time goes on. But my office is in the wing by where you guys will be, so you always have access to me if you have any questions or concerns, issues with friends, home, school, whatever. I'm there for you in that way. Or if you're having trouble in a class and you need me to help you advocate for yourself in the classroom, that's my role, is to help you out in any way I can to get your needs met. So yes, I'm excited to be your counselor. I'm excited to have the next 3 years with you all.
Thanks, Miss Morgan. So yeah, that's just, and that's she's also, Miss Morgan will be in your lunchroom as well. So that's an easy way that you can meet with her. We encourage our students at the middle school to use email as well. So you can always email her, Miss Wilder, or myself if you're having any issues. Miss Wilder will be your 6th grade principal. We have different principals as you go through 7th and 8th grade. But I will always be your building principal, so that will be consistent. I'll give you a quick overview. Ms. Wilder, do you want to speak a little bit about what you do, or are you good?
I'm good. I'll let you do it. And
yep, you got your hands full. I see that. You're good. All right. Yeah, I get it. I get it. So basically, for the middle school, typically we have a summer camp, and I believe I actually came to your school and talked to you guys about that, but unfortunately we don't have that opportunity this year with COVID We are going to offer some summer virtual learning opportunities that if you want to get involved with, you can do that. It will be over the computer as well. But typically that's one of the best ways, as you remember me talking, to get to know the middle school layout. We do have scheduled pickups that we have towards the beginning of school. Those are opportunities then, especially since we didn't have tours in the summer camp, that you could come in, pick up your schedule with your family. You could walk around, look where your classes are and get comfortable with it. We are going to put together a virtual tour in which I'll basically create a video that'll walk around the school and kind of introduce you to the different places that you guys have. So those are just, and this has not been approved, but it's something that I'm looking at. I'm looking at possibly, since we didn't have tours and that, being able to have the 6th graders come in on a day by themselves before 7th and 8th graders. That's not finalized yet, but know that that's something I'm looking at, because I really think it's important that you guys have a good transition to the middle school. The biggest difference between the middle school and your school right now, I want to take you back to the time that you were at the band and the music performances. You came to Viking Village and you saw that the whole auditorium was filled up. Well, if you remember me speaking at that, that's going to be your all 6th grade class when you come in here. As I remember, I was able to go and talk to you guys in your community room at lunch during 5th grade. When you come here, you're going to have over 400 kids in your roughly about, you'll have a whole lunchroom filled up with kids, that whole auditorium. So the amount of kids is probably the biggest difference that you're going to see when you come up here. And I mentioned this before, but I always mention this to my 5th graders coming in. We have very high expectations for your behaviors. We want you to be the best Vikings that you can be. The biggest example I can give you to that is we do not accept students putting their hands on each other for fighting, playing around, or for any reason like that. We issue stiff consequences for that, because we have so many kids, we can't afford to have anything less than the best for your behavior. An example of that, and I mentioned it then, but I mention it now, so then that way when you come into the middle school, there's no surprises. If you decide to get into a fight where you throw punches with another student and you get into into an altercation, a fight, you're going to receive 5 days of out of school suspension. On your second time, if you get in the second fight, most students don't get into second fights because they know they didn't like being out 5 days. Just think about it. If you've ever been sick 1 or 2 days and you come back, you know all the stuff that you're behind on. So just think if you miss 5 days from that. And your second one could result in 10 days of out of school suspension with a possible recommendation for expulsion, in which you'd have to go before a hearing with your family to determine if it's safe for you to come back. Now, I don't share that in that I'm trying to scare you guys, and we really don't have that many fights here at the middle school, because students know that we expect better behavior than that. We expect that you do not. We do not want a school in which people resort to putting their hands on each other to settle differences. Just like society, we don't want that as well, because that, you know, then it only relies on your physical capabilities. Now, having said that, you know, there are so many adults here at the school. We have Miss Morgan, Miss Wilder, we have security monitors in the hallway, your teachers, anybody, secretaries, anybody that you see that's an adult, whether they're your teacher or not, you can go to them and say, hey, I'm having a problem with so-and-so. And we can get you guys in there, talk to you, and solve that before you have to. There are some cases where people have to defend themselves. We don't have that many, though, because if people are having an issue with people, if you go to somebody, we can deal with it, solve it, and move forward and put things into place that'll solve the problem and also prevent any other issues from happening. And I do think it's important to tell you, like, well, I don't want to be a snitch. You know, people are going to say I snitched on them. Middle school staff and teachers and all of us, we're really skilled at being able to bring students in without telling other students, hey, this student came and told us. Like, we have cameras everywhere in our school that you guys are at in the middle school. So like, we can just say, hey, we noticed something on camera. So I just share that because I know as a middle school student, That's probably the number one reason why students don't talk to an adult, is because they're worried about being a snitch. And I get it, but we do have skillful ways that we can do that without it ever being known that you told us that. So let's get into academics real quick. When you come to the middle school, you get assigned into classes based off your MAP scores, which were, incidentally, we can't use your spring ones because obviously we were remote. So we use your winter MAP scores, in which we place you into 3 different types of levels of classes that we have. We have college prep classes, we have honors classes, and we have gifted level classes. And those are basically strict off your MAP scores. We don't we don't go off teacher recommendations or anything else. We use straight data that informs us. We take the MAP score the MAP test 3 times like you guys, but that's how we organize interventions. That basically, the MAP score drives what we do as far as grouping for your classes. Now, some students say, well, what if I'm really good at math, but I'm not so good at language arts? We do have students that take honors level classes for like math, and then CP level classes for language arts. And also, if your MAP scores do improve, we can reevaluate where you're at semester or at the quarter and make decisions to move you up or down based on where you're at. But the MAP scores drive everything. So it's really important. I know that your teachers in the elementary school remind you that, but you know, it's an important thing when you get up here and there too, but that you take it very seriously and do your best, as that's what we use to drive what we do academically. As far as your classes go, the 6th grade, we usually have Gateway to Technology, Project Lead the Way, which is a STEM course that all of our students, or 99% of our students, take. That exposes you to science careers, hands-on activities with STEM, and it's you do project-based learning in that class. So that's one way that we get everybody in there. We also offer art classes. We also have, for 6th graders, PE classes. We do have some other electives that you could take. But when you're in the 6th grade, we also, this is a great thing that we have for you guys. We have you on your own bell schedule, which means that you guys will not be, except for maybe one time throughout the day, you guys are isolated away from our 7th and 8th graders in the hallway. You eat lunch by yourself. And then you also kind of enter the building at a different place as well. We'll explain more of that. But basically, you guys enter over by your side of the building, because there's a 6th grade wing, a 7th grade wing, and an 8th grade wing. So we do everything we can to keep the 7th and 8th graders out of the 6th grade wing. And you guys actually go straight to your homeroom classes in the morning. You pick up your lunch. You pick up your breakfast. So then that way you guys get to go straight to your homeroom class and eat your breakfast. And that's part of your routine every day. So we do a lot of things like that. You guys have different bells during the day that we focus on creating more of a 6th grade environment for you guys. And it helps with our 7th and 8th graders, because we do have a lot of students here. So it helps our 7th and 8th graders to have less students in the hallway as well. So those are just some of the things. We have a good, robust after-school program where we offer tutoring, we offer clubs, pretty much whatever you're interested in. There's going to be a club for you that you can get involved in after school. Now, this is a question I always hear. Dr. Mackzum, can 6th graders play sports? Unfortunately, no. The Ohio High School Athletic Association only allows 7th and 8th graders to play organized sports. Ms. Wilder or Ms. Morgan, I have to do a quick computer handoff. So can you just give me 2 minutes and kind of fill that space while I get this computer out there?
Yep.
Sure. Well, I have one thing to tell you all real quick. If you are interested in playing an instrument or being involved in the choir, this is your year to join. And so if you're interested in playing an instrument and you haven't already signed up to do so, you can go online to the main Princeton webpage, and there's a thing, it says, I was just on it, and it says PCMS band, choir, and orchestra sign up. So you need to go on there and you click the link and you tell them what instrument that you're interested in playing. It's really hard to jump into the choir or the band after your 6th grade year, because you have to be taking private lessons in order to be able to catch up. So if you're even remotely interested in an instrument or being in the choir, now is your time to join it and get on board with that. Miss Wilder.
Do we want to use this time to let the girls kind of share about the peer pressure kind of things that we've talked about in our
Yep, perfect.
So Lauren or Elizabeth or Megan?
Okay, so sometimes people think that like when you go into middle school, there'll be like a whole lot of peer pressure and like you'll be like forced into doing things. And that does happen sometimes, but it's actually kind of rare if you're with the right group. So you just want to make sure that you have a good group of friends. And if you are like feel like you're being peer pressured and stuff into doing something that you don't think is smart or you don't agree with, honestly just walk away from the situation, because it'll be so much easier to just resist if you just say no once and then you don't even have the opportunity to be tempted again.
If it's something you don't want to do, you have control of yourself. Like, you control your own body, you control your own thoughts and actions. So if it's something you don't want to do or something you don't think will be good, just like Lauren said, step away from it, go do something else. Maybe if this person does this to you again and again and again, it's not the right person for you to be talking to, for you to be hanging out with. Just making sure you get some friends in your friend group, get some people you can do homework with, some people in case you're struggling can help you, just some people that you can have a good time with. Another thing that people from some of the other schools have said is when you get to middle school, you can get a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you know, whatever you want to get yourself a boyfriend or girlfriend. And it's not necessary, because it's mostly a popularity thing. People think, hey, if I have a boyfriend or girlfriend, I'm going to be so popular amongst all the other people. But it's not. It doesn't matter. Just get yourself a best friend, some people you can work with, some people you can talk to, have companionship, and things will be it'll be way more fun. There are going to be 7 other elementary schools there with you in your classes, in your lunch bells. So you're going to be able to see so many brand new people and meet so many new people that you can hang out with.
Reagan, can you talk a little bit about like your transition from Sharonville, right?
Yes.
How you didn't have a bunch of close friends from Sharonville and how you've made really strong friend connections when you got to middle school.
Yeah, okay. So my first day, I was put in my class, and I knew a couple people there from Sharonville or some other people I knew from sports outside of school, but I didn't really know anyone. My best friend was in a different class. So I was kind of by myself with a couple friends, and Elizabeth was in that class. And so I met Elizabeth through that class, and then I had other classes with her through the day. So I just talked to the people around me. I talked to the people in my classes, because if you're put in, say, all honors or all CP or all gifted, you're going to be with the same people throughout the day, throughout your whole year, and throughout all 3 of your years in middle school, and even probably throughout high school. So if you meet and just talk to the people that you have your first class with, you will make a lot of friends. And that's what I did. Lauren and Elizabeth, I've had classes with for the last 2-3 years. And they've grown to be some of my best friends, because I talk to them, and we do sports, we do school, all these things we do together. So, yeah.
Thank you, Reagan.
And another great way to like make friends and stuff in the middle school is to join clubs, and music is one that I have found very helpful to like connect with people. So if you're not signed up for music class, I would highly recommend doing that. And just really join like an after school club or something, even if it's not for the whole year. You'll just really be able to meet new people and find people that are interested in similar things that you are.
All right. So it sounds like you guys talked a little bit about the music program and signing up for that, so I don't need to hit that as much. So
we covered the peer pressure stuff too.
Thank you. Ms. Doris, I did get my hair a little bit wet out there. It is raining now. So, but I do want to just say, you know, the students mentioned some really good ways to get into some positive, you know, things that we have here at the middle school. You know, we have PBIS, Go Vike, PBIS, school values, probably similar to what you guys have. We have a Viking store where students can, you know, I talked a little bit about consequences before for actions. But I also want to talk about the positive things that you can get recognized for here at the middle school. Basically, we use a Go Vikes value system where we teach V for Vikes, value learning, understanding the importance of acquiring knowledge, I, integrity, doing the right thing when no one's watching, K, kindness, treat people how you want to be treated, E, effort, give the best in everything that you do, and S is safety, create a safe, positive, trusting environment. Those are things that you can earn PBIS points, but kind of similar to Viking bucks, that you can spend on our Viking store, in which we've got snacks, school supplies, various different things like that we have that you can be rewarded with. We also have incentives quarterly that students can use your PBIS points as well. We had a midday mingle, which is basically like a school dance in the middle of the day. We were going to have a rocket out party, which got the third quarter, which got we had to cancel because of COVID, but that was going to be like we get an inflatable house. It's like a carnival type that during the day. We have movies. Sometimes we do staffers, students, dodgeball. So those are positive ways beside the student of the weeks that we do every week with me and donuts. There's, you can get lunch with a principal as well with your PBIS points. Some of your teachers individually have stores within theirs that you can use your PBIS points. So those are a lot of positive things that you can get picked. It's a PBIS app, so any teacher can, and you can have it on your phone as well, so you can see points that you're given, and then teachers can give them out from their phone as well. So you could check how many points you're getting, while you're doing all the positive things that we have. And those are things that you'll hear me talk a lot about during announcements and at the end of the day. Also, bus behavior is an important thing that's been brought up in different schools. Your behavior on the bus is same expectations at school. It's an extension of school. So the same respect that we expect you to give all your teachers and staff here at the school, we expect you to treat your bus drivers the same way. And for example, if you get on a fight on the bus, the same consequences that you get at school, and even more, because your bus driver, and the students will tell you every day, I remind our students at the end of the day, your bus driver is responsible for getting you home safely and on time. You have to listen to their redirections. And just in general, I always say this too, there's a lot of adults that you may not know. You may not have a relationship with, but if they redirect you, it is your job to our expectations, our Go Vike values. You have to respect that and understand that that's their responsibility. When we have high expectations for you, it means that we care, and it means that staff wants you to go by our expectations for you. So those are just some things that we do. We have a student planner that you get at the beginning of the year. You want to make sure that you understand that. We have a scavenger hunt where you familiarize yourself with that, but that's like our game plan book that we use. So like, if you don't follow our expectations in there, then you kind of get assigned consequences. We have a focus room. I'm not sure if you guys have that, but we have a focus room where if you don't follow our expectations, you can receive consequences in which you get time in the focus room where you're basically by yourself. You don't get to eat lunch, you don't get to talk, but you still get to do your work. That's definitely not a place that any student wants to have to end up in, because it's kind of like a in-school detention that you have all day. We also have lunch detentions and after-school detentions as well that teachers can assign you for not following their procedures. Typically, for example, this is a good one. We have a attendance policy that if you're late to your classes 3 times, you get a lunch detention. On your 4th one, after school detention, and then a 5th one, you get a referral, which goes to Miss Wilder, in which she probably assigns you consequences a little more than just after school detentions. You could end up in the focus room during the school day or for a whole day. So those are just an example. Now, you do get, with that planner that you get at the beginning of the year, you get 2 emergency passes that you can use for each class. that restroom passes. So you want to budget your time and use those passes wisely because you don't want to waste them. Now, I do want to mention too, students have 4 minutes in between their classes that you have to be on time. Mostly all your classes are in the same 6th grade wing. So it's not a long transition for you to get to your classes. Occasionally, if you have a music class or PE, those classes are a little bit further from you. They may take you a little bit while longer, but if you use good hallway strategies where you're not stopping to talk to your friends and you're walking with a purpose to get on time, most of our students don't have any issues with too many tardies that are making it a priority. And obviously the first couple weeks of school, guys, especially in the 6th grade, our teachers and staff, we're really, we understand that you're new to the building and understanding how to get to your classes. So we work with you more at the beginning of the school year, especially when you come in as a 6th grader with tardies and stuff. But it is important that you pay attention to that because naturally, if you're late to class, you miss important things. 99% of our classes have do nows in which you come into the class and you're expected to get started on some work right away. Those are important ways that you start your class out on a good note. If you're late to class, you miss that. And then you also accumulate the tardies, which are late to class, which could equal, your detentions and then possibly a referral to Miss Wilder, which nobody wants that. But most of the time, most of our students don't have issues that they have those problems with. So, trying to think what else I haven't talked about yet. The other thing I do like to mention to 6th graders coming in, even though you can't play sports, we do have a lot of after school activities. That includes, and I like to promote this, is we do have a swim club for 6th graders in which you get to practice with the 7th and 8th graders and you learn how to swim. So if you've ever been interested in learning how to swim, you can learn the strokes for the open swim club. You can't participate in the swim meets because you're only in the 6th grade, but it's an awesome way to learn swimming. My son, who's a 5th grader, he's going to be a 6th grader next year. I'm going to definitely have him involved in that because I think it's important. And then that way too, if you want to decide you want to get into swimming, you can get on the swim team. They also have water polo when you get into high school as well. So there's a lot of opportunities. Plus, it's a lot safer if you know how to swim. So it's a skill that everybody should have. And you meet new people and you get involved in something after school. Probably the best communication tool that we have at the middle school, and this is for any parents too, is that we have student announcements at the beginning of the day that are shown on your homeroom. It's like a PowerPoint slideshow. Those are also updated and put on our website as well. So we don't have Thursday folders per se, but we do have those. Those are the best way. So like if you're sick or you have a sub, or if parents, you want to know what's going on, check that out once a week, because then you can see all the great opportunities that we have for students, like the clubs that we have. Sometimes we do different activities during the day. We do have some mentoring groups after school for ladies and guys. So those are things that if you're paying attention to your student announcements, you'll see that. Plus, if we're doing incentives for the quarter and ways to earn your incentives. So those are that is actually the best way. And also for any parents as well, there's always this kind of misnomer that, hey, the middle school doesn't need volunteers and we don't want you to be involved anymore because your kids are older. That is far from the truth. We actually we encourage parents. We want volunteers. We want you involved in the PTA. That's the best way to be involved with your kids in the school here. We do have parents that do volunteer, help with copies, work with students and different things. We have a process for working with, like a screening process that we have to do. But we welcome that. We do a lot of survey, like Sign Up Genius through our PTA for volunteers for certain incentives. So please, parents, don't believe the hype when you hear people say that. We want you to be involved. I encourage it. In fact, I always tell our parents, we want you to be part of the process of making PCMS a positive place. So I just always try to plug that as well. Our PTA membership has been increasing, but we want to continue to keep it up. And especially if you've been involved at your elementary school, we welcome and encourage that when you get up here. So those are just some tips for parents and just communication with parents. your counselor, Miss Morgan, Miss Wilder, and myself, and any teacher. Email is the best form of communication that you can use as well. We also have a 6th grade secretary that we have that can kind of be the front person as well. So there's a lot of people like that are just as easily email, phone call away. Our staff you could call too, but we're really accessible. If you take one step forward, we take 2 steps forward to help you be successful and navigate the middle school, especially for the 6th graders coming in, because it is a big difference when you get up here to the middle school. So I'm trying to think, Ms. Wilder, Ms. Morgan, what else do I need to talk about?
You've covered a lot of it. I can't think of anything else, but.
Do we want to open it up for questions?
Yeah, we could do that. And just, one final thing, well, now that I'm thinking about it, Ms. Wilder, there's always a thing. Ms. Morgan knows that too. Just as you progress through the middle school, it's important too, like we give you a lot of different options for things that you're going to get interested in. You don't really start thinking about jobs and careers yet, but when you get into the 8th grade, we get trips to Scarlet Oaks that we take all of our 8th graders on. And then that way you can start thinking about careers and stuff that you're interested in. We also do offer at the 7th and 8th grade level, we do offer high school level classes that you could take. So when you go to the high school, you have school credit. We offer health in the 8th grade. We offer a math course. We offer foreign languages, Spanish and French, that you can get exposed to. There's some more electives that you have, more choices when you get into 7th and 8th grade, like a robotics class that we offer, performance poetry. And then that really helps, because when you get to the high school, there's a lot of different things that you could take, like there's levels that you can go to Scarlet Oaks and learn a trade where it's more specific career training, like cosmetology, automotive, and even engineering. They offer those programs. But when you get through us and then you get to the high school does a great job of personalizing what you're interested in and really putting you in a position so when you get to high school, you get the training that you need. I mean, there's Princeton High School offers programs where you can get associate degrees, which means you'll have a college degree when you graduate from high school as well. So there's just a lot of options. And I always like to preface that, because if you're up at the higher level, we want to push you to even get higher. We're going to have people that become doctors, lawyers, go in the military. We offer ROTC. We've got career choices. And my last thing I'll say is, one of the things that we really focus on at the middle school is, and just in general, is we have such a diverse school district. We are the most diverse school in the state of Ohio. We've got kids with different languages, different religions, different backgrounds. But what we specialize in is we bring all of those different strengths together, and your uniqueness, whoever you are as a student, your background is who we are as a school community and as a Viking. That's why it's called Princeton Community Middle School, I believe, because it's the first time that you get exposed to the Princeton community as a whole, and you get to see that. It will position you, that diversity that you have with our student body and your experiences at the middle school and at the high school will prepare you for life. And no matter what you want to do with it, we will be there. So again, I just really want to stress that whoever you are, whatever unique talent that you have, we celebrate it, recognize it, and want you to bring it every single day that you come in our building. So having said that, Ms. Wilder and Ms. Morgan, I'll go ahead and we can open it up to any questions, I guess. Is it easier to do the chat or just have students and parents ask questions? What do you guys think?
I think we have the chat turned off for this one.
All right, let's keep it off then. We'll keep the chat off, and then we'll just go, just pretty much, I guess, we'll just have you, any students or parents have any questions for us. Students like.
Crazy go.
So how long is each period?
45 minutes?
Yes.
About?
Yep, 45 minutes.
Thank
Your homeroom bell at the beginning of the day is, I think, 10 minutes roughly about. So that, but your rest of your bells are back.
And when you get your schedule, it'll look like you have 11 classes because there's 11 bells, but you only have 7 classes because of how the lunch bells are broken up. So don't look at it and think, oh, I've got 11 classes. You only have 7. We just have 11 bells in a day.
Jordan?
Can you get more bathroom passes?
So you
The
get,
question was the bathroom passes?
He wants to know,
Yeah.
can you get more than the 2? Each quarter.
Good question. Each quarter you get 2 for your classes. So you get 2 per quarter. So and that's for every class. Like Miss Morgan said, you have 7 classes. So you'll have 2 bathroom passes per class for each quarter. And then each quarter you get another group, a set of bathroom passes you put in your planner. And you do have to carry your planner around with your passes to be able to leave your class.
If you use your time in between your classes well, you'll be fine with your bathroom passes.
Any more?
Don't forget, if you're interested in the music program, to go to the main Princeton webpage and go to the link there and register. Say that you would like to play an instrument and which one. Okay, don't forget to do that.
Alex, go ahead.
Did you already talk about homework?
No, they did. That's a good question, Alex.
Yep.
I can answer that one.
There you go.
So homework kind of depends on your teacher. A lot of times your teacher will assign an assignment during class, and if you don't finish it during classroom, it becomes homework. So if you just work hard in the classroom and you really stay focused, you should be able to have a very minimal amount of homework. So it really just depends on your motivation. There are some times where there is going to be homework that you don't have any time to work in class, but each teacher is usually pretty understanding about that, so they don't assign a whole lot.
Yeah, every teacher is different. Some will give you a weekly assignment, so they'll give you something on Monday or Tuesday, and it'll be due the next Monday or Tuesday. Maybe it'll be a packet for social studies or something. Other teachers, like Lauren said, give you an assignment during class, and you get a couple minutes, 20 minutes to work on it, and then whatever you don't finish is homework. Take it home, bring it back the next day, finish it. Other teachers, you'll have both. If they prefer to give you work in class and then homework. I've never really had that many teachers that have done that. I don't know of that many teachers that do that. They usually do the work in class, and whatever you don't finish is homework. But every teacher is different. It just depends on their preference, and you'll learn it really quickly. So.
And the final point I'll make about homework, and Lauren and Reagan, those were great answers. Thank you. Is that most of the time your teachers will put a homework board where they put the homework assignments, a whiteboard with typically your homework and your daily assignments and stuff. What I would suggest is 6th graders to come in being organized is use the planner that we give you at the beginning of the year. It has our student code of conduct. It's your bathroom passes, but it also has a calendar where you can write your homework and your assignments in there. That is the #1 strategy to stay organized that you can use. And Ms. Doris, you're probably doing this. Yeah. So it's probably something that, but with so many different classes, that's the best advice I can give you.
They should have heard that. They know that one already.
All right.
Yes,
Don't forget that habit then.
I think Raymond's hand was up.
Yep.
Go ahead, Raymond.
How long would you have to get to each class?
How long do you have to get to each class? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yes.
So we have 4 minutes in between each class. However, for 6th graders especially, most of your classes are going to be across the hall, right next door. We try really hard for 6th graders to be teamed in close proximity. So really the only challenging 4-minute travel would be if you're going to the music wing or coming back from the cafeteria. You just have to kind of know that those are some hustle spots where you're just going to have to focus on getting from one place to the next.
Rejoice's hand was up next. Rejoice, did you have a question?
Yes. Do you, for
since you're beginning the 6th grade, do you have like if you forget something in your locker, would you have a pass for that?
Question.
So you can choose how you use your passes. You can either go to your locker for your emergency passes, or you can go to the bathroom. It really just depends. If it's something that you don't need for like a little bit, I would just try and get it in between classes. But if it's something that it's an emergency and you do need it, or you feel that you'll do better work with a certain book or something, you are allowed to use your pass to go get it.
Okay.
Yeah, if you like your homework that's due that day, you can use a pass to go get it from your locker. Sometimes, I don't think they're supposed to technically, but sometimes teachers, if your door is right here and the locker is right there, sometimes the teacher will let you go out, grab it real quick. I don't know if they're supposed to do that or if like teachers are breaking rules, but I don't know. Sometimes my teachers have let me do that or other students do that.
She
I
just
think
told
they're
him
all pretty
somebody, Dr.
good
Mackzum.
about that, unless you abuse it. Like if you're constantly needing to go get something from your locker, I think they are all pretty considerate that we all forget things. So they're going to let you go unless like it's every day or frequently that you're needing that.
Jelani, don't forget your questions.
Oh, that seems weird.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, babe. Did you write them down?
No, I just had them memorized.
Okay.
What happens if the bell rings and you miss a bell? Like in your because when we had school, two kids came to our classroom that was from Woodlawn, and they went to middle school. And they told us that if you miss the bell, then they do a hall sweep. And I was wondering what happens if they catch you in the hallways.
Well, we do once in a while do have hall sweeps. That would be where if we do a hall sweep and you get caught in the hallway when the bell rings, that you would be assigned an automatic detention after school. We don't do that very much, but once in a while we do it. It really just depends on if we have some students that are kind of taking advantage or congregating in the hallways, wasting their time. So basically you're asking if you're late or you skip like let's say you don't go to class or something, or you hang out in the bathroom for like 10 or 15 minutes or something, or you go to the locker or something. I don't know what you're doing, but you're not in class. And you're not in the nurse and you don't have a reason to be out. You can be assigned a focus room for the day, depending on your first one. To sometimes students even get suspended out of school for skipping classes. So, but typically that's not a big issue here. It does happen sometimes, but when we find out, like I said, you can be put in the focus room for a day or two, depending on what it is and depending on how long you are. Typically though, that usually doesn't work out for students, because if a student is not in their class and is not accounted for within the first 5 minutes of class when the teacher takes attendance, they call down to the office. They let us know that their student's not accounted for. We figure out that they're at school, but they're not in class, and we usually find them within about 5 minutes, and they usually have to go to the focus room, and then their parents are called, and then there's consequences. So, but that's typically what would happen.
If you are just tardy though, like you're still trying to get to class and only a few minutes late, you'll just get like a tardy, and if you get, is it 3 tardies?
Yep.
Then you get lunch detention, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so your first few, you do have like a little bit of room if you're still trying to get to class, like if you're not purposely skipping or being late.
See any more hands?
Any more questions, parents?
Zuri has a question.
How long is the detention?
Well, we have after-school detentions on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and those go from 3:15 to 4:30. and they're typically in the lunchroom. And then we have lunch detentions, which are basically where you're not allowed to eat with your friends and you have to eat by yourself for the whole lunch bout. So we have lunch.
Is parents notified?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Any teacher that assigns any detention, when the minute they assign it, and we usually try to give them a day, especially the after school ones, we try to give them a couple of days advance notice too. But yeah, whoever assigns that detention, it is a policy and responsibility of the teacher or staff member to inform the parents.
And for things they want to join, like the different clubs, is there transportation for those students, or we as parents are responsible for picking them up?
We typically run our after-school programs on Tuesdays and Thursdays where we have activity buses. Those leave from school about, I'd say 4:35, 4:40. And then typically all the activities and tutoring opportunities that we have are on those 2 days. So they would just get an activity bus pass from whichever activity they were in, hop on the bus, and then yes, that takes them home. Those are for after school, any after school activity we do on Tuesday and Thursday.
Any other questions, guys? I tell you, Dr. Mackzum, you're going to be really pleased with this group of 5th graders. Excuse me. I'll just go ahead and call you 6th graders. Going to get, because these, some of the most dedicated students. You see our turnout for our Zoom.
Yes.
And it's pretty much like this on an everyday basis. Turnout, these dedicated students.
I was definitely impressed when I visited them and talked to them. They've asked really good questions. I can tell that they're engaged in what I've been saying and interacting really well. And I'll just go out there and say I'm always impressed with Woodlawn students when they come into the middle school. They do a great job. Staff, teachers, administrators down there, Ms. Thompson, you guys do a great job of preparing them for the transition to the middle school. So we're excited to have them, and we're looking forward to it. And just know that, like I said, whatever special that makes you special, we'll have a way to kind of highlight it, recognize it, and celebrate it. So any other questions? Parents, anybody? All right.
I think Ulayah's hand went up.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Do y'all have like a room where if it is a little argument where everyone can come together and speak about it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say we have a designated room. This is between, like, you know, where the counselor, the principal, Ms. Wilder, even myself, or any, you know, the security monitors. We definitely do a lot of that where we take students in and kind of talk to them about what's going on, because most of the time issues between students are like he said, she said issues, where it's like, well, you know, my friend told me that she said this, and then when we get you guys together and talk about it, there really isn't any of that. So, but the answer is yeah, we do that as well. And did we talk about social media at all? Did we
did not.
No.
Okay, and I just think that's
a biggie
thing, because when you come up to the middle school, and the girls, maybe some of the students as well, if you want to piggyback on anything I mentioned about it, it's really important that when you get to the middle school that you don't get involved with any social media nonsense. And that's like, you know, the TikTok, Snapchat, all that stuff, because what happens is, number one, if you get caught doing that during school time, you can face consequences for making, you know, instigating and saying things about people that if you're caught doing it, you know, we can prove it, then we can give you consequences for that as well. But most importantly, I think it's a skill that you guys have to learn, that if you get caught up into that stuff, it's only going to get you into more trouble. Like if you're in a group where somebody starts, like if you join a group, somebody starts talking crazy or they're saying things that you know aren't right, immediately leave that. don't get involved in it, because you can be guilty by association and then get caught up into drama. It's probably our number one source of issue that we have with middle school drama is social media. So really listen to your parents when they're telling you things, all the positive things that Woodlawn has taught you about social media etiquette and how to behave, because social media is an elective thing. You can elect not to do it. So if you get caught and you're with people, or if you're with somebody that asks you to be part of a group and you don't know them, don't join it. Don't get involved in it. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's your reputation and your well-being, and people really like to get everybody worked up about things, and then they get to walk away. So, you know, and you do have a little bit more privilege with your phone here at the middle school, where you can have it with you, but with that comes a lot more responsibility. So you just want to be careful. And the other thing is, everything that you can do online is traceable, whether you think it is or not. So that's another thing to think about as well, just the reality of it is. And I don't know, for some of my middle school students, do you guys have any social media guidelines or suggestions for the kid for coming in?
I would say when, so like maybe on like your Instagram, you're taking pictures and you're like thinking of like captions, or you're DMing people. Think about, is it something you would want your parents or your grandparents, aunts, uncles, your family? Would you want them seeing you doing that? Would you want them seeing you doing that dance, wearing that outfit? Or would you say those words to their face? If not, then it may not be nice. It might not be appropriate. It might just be something you might want to hit, maybe not, just X out of it, cancel it. And like you said, don't talk to like random people as someone that you don't know. Maybe if it's someone that like goes to our school, you see, maybe that's one of the things where it's like, if you know them, then, and you're okay with them, then yes, 100%. But if it's someone you don't know, don't let random people from random schools that are from random age groups, because they can always be stalkers, bad people. So just be careful who you let follow you, be careful what you post, be careful what you say. It can always come back to haunt you in the end.
And I would just say, like, make sure you respect people's privacy and stuff. Like, you don't want someone to have something embarrassing post about them just because that'll just really ruin their day, and you'd rather make people's days happy. And just think if you would want that done to you. So I would say only post stuff that you would be willing to have posted about you. So don't post bad about people. Maybe say like, great job for winning this award or something. Just don't post anything that you would be offended if it was posted about you.
That is so true, and particularly girls. I hate to like focus on girls, but I'm sorry, we're the worst sometimes. And that we're all together as friends, and we've been taking pictures at somebody's house, and then we think it's so funny that we post something about somebody else, and it's extremely embarrassing to them, like Lauren was just saying. So unless you're going to say it about you, don't say it about other people. You know, that's not helpful. So we're always thinking, is it helpful, hurtful, true, before we post or say anything to somebody else.
I have a quick question. As far as the middle school, when a child is in trouble or does get in trouble for something, why is the first line of communication an email instead of a phone call if they receive a detention or something like that? Because I'm at work most of the time and I can't check my email, you know, to see if my child is gotten in trouble like on the hour or something like that. I feel like if a child does get in trouble for something and it deserves a detention, I think it should be a phone call instead of an email, which I rarely even get those sometimes.
Yeah, they should be trying to reach out to talk to parents face, you know, verbally versus the email. So and those would be an issue that if people are having something, you can reach out to me directly about, and I can work with you on that, because you know, we try to do our best to inform parents about how kids are doing, and if there's individual teachers that aren't, then those are things that I need to work with my staff on. So. All right. Any other questions, parents, students?
Thank you all so much for coming in. And I have to say, you 8th graders really impressed me. So thank you so much for all of your advice and how well spoken you are.
I think the best thing that you said when you tell these students that they control their own minds and bodies, that says it all. Thank you for that. Right, Kamarion?
All right.
Well, Dr. Mack,
Thank you.
Morgan, and Ms. Wilder, and ladies, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you,
See
guys.
you all. We want to see you in August.
Yeah, we hope
Go
so.
Vikes.
We
Go
hope so.
Vikes.
My students, stay on for just a second, and I'm gonna let you go.